Welcome to episode 5 of the Dirt Life podcast. I'm here with an old friend, Matt Hummel. Is that how you say your last name?
That is how you say it.
On IG, he goes by Captain Hummel. Dude, you've been commenting on all my shit for a long time, and no, I love it. I like the support and stuff like that. Let's hear about what you do.
Well, I'm a heavy equipment operator for Kido, so we work together, obviously in different divisions, but we cross paths quite a bit, and so been on and off with Kido throughout the years, but I've learned a lot from when I left, came back, and just became a better operator over the time. So,
Which division are you in?
right now I'm in basements, so I'm digging basements. It's a very more technical, on-hands approach to what an operator will do in the industry, and I learned a lot through that, and it's made me better in different fields as well.
A good start point would be I've never dug basements. I really don't know that much about it. I can assume what all goes into it. Is it a one-man show? Do you have a grade man to help you? Do it's done by lasers or what?
So, I mean, we're kind of evolving too. So generally what we do is it's a one-man show. Either you need trucks to haul away the material or you pile if there's an empty lot beside you. But generally I'm setting up the laser, I'm laying out the basement, the overdig, the heights of the garage, the trench, and doing my own grade setup as well, and shooting the laser. So that's kind of where we do there in basements. It's trying to make the most effective use of our time and make the company money without costing the company money.
I assume when you export the extra dirt, does that go to a Kido site or?
You got variables. We can go to backfills in different communities, and it's kind of a give and take. It's like loaning material, and then you'll dig from another basement, it'll go to another dig in another community, or it could be down the street, and or we just pile it if it's an empty lot, so that our backfill crew can come in and then throw it into the side there, and save us the trucking cost to the customer.
That's pretty cool. Do you have to slope it for safety at all, or is it straight walled, or what?
Absolutely. So it's standard, anywhere you go in this industry, you need to make sure it's safe for people to go into the hole. So what our standard is, it's 5 feet, and then we slope it. At least try to do 3 to 1, minimum 1 to 1. Mm-hmm. And it all depends on that cut too, right? So sometimes you'll hit a 3-meter cut, you're pulling out quite a bit of material, even going into other neighbors'
sloughing
houses.
in and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and it can get scary too. So, I mean, when you put up a wall and then you have the over dig and the overcut, you're at a point where if you don't make sure that's safe, and you've got an ATCO guy going down there, a TELUS installer, or your tar sprayers, that wall comes in, you're going to get crushed between the wall and the material. So we have to make sure that that's safe.
What's the biggest challenge of that job?
There's a couple variables.
I assume you have a big responsibility.
Well, it's ironic because we're operators, right? But we're site foreman too.
You're like a working
unofficial.
operator, yeah.
We do the paperwork. We ensure the truck drivers are doing the job safely. We talk to the other trades, make sure they're signing off on our hazard assessments, and just overall, control the site to make sure that the job is done effectively and safely.
I would love to dig basement. I never have. I think I would like the challenge of it. It's more than just digging a giant hole. It's actually quite precise and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely.
You need to be dead on dimension, elevations and everything, right? So
yeah. So I mean, we get into some technical digs. We can start off with a basement, and so what our minimum is 2 feet for each step. So if we have to drop our basement from our garage grade, because we generally step it based off of frost coverage. So a garage is normally about 4 feet. Some places like Harmony, they want 7-foot frost coverage for the garage. So what we'll do is, on standard with XL Homes or Trico here in Calgary, they're normally at about 4-foot range, below minimum or top of grade, bottom, bottom of footing, and then we drop that down to house grade. And I mean, at some points you can get 3 or 4 steps into that, depending on the cut. And then you get into the house and you have frost walls at the back for a walkout. Then you're doing 3 or 4 steps as well on top of that. So a house, you're doing multiple sections of this dropping down and working your way back up, and some of them. And it's really, really technical. But once you get the hang of it, it's natural.
So yeah, you've been doing that for a long time. You like Kido? I love Kido.
Kido's been good to me. It's always a steady paycheck, never missed a day. and good staff and management, especially in basements, is fantastic. They treat us really well.
Who's in charge of basements?
Well, it starts with Stu. He is in. He's our operations manager, I guess you could say, or basements manager. And then it goes to Cody, who is our field operations manager. And then we've got four supervisors that work pretty much zones throughout Calgary and the greater area. So it's split into 4 zones.
Besides Kidco, what other things have you done?
I've gone up north to work in Fort Hills.
Explain that a little bit.
So I went last year. I needed to get that itch scratched. I've been dying to get up there and play with the big boys. And I got a buddy who was a foreman up for Thompson. And I decided, he's finally convinced me. He's like, just come up. I'm like, I got to go play with the big boys. So we ended up getting up there. I was only up there for 3 months. It kind of fell apart, and they kind of got the boot off the overburden dig. There was some safety issues that, frankly, were easy to avoid, but it ended up happening. They got the boot, and I actually came back to Kidco in the winter as they kind of got the boot from site. They're still working for Suncor, I believe, doing smaller projects outside the mine. Yeah. But inside the mine, they lost it. So I'm very fortunate that I got to go up there and operate the loading tool, run the dump dozer, and I learned a lot, and I met a lot of great people up there.
Let's talk a bit about those machines. Like what machines?
You get old Komatsu 1250 PC.
Love them.
It's a great machine. It's kind of hard to keep up with 85s and 89s when you've got a 60-15 outloading you. Like, you just can't keep up. Yeah. But it was real interesting to run those machines. There's no metal on metal contact up there, so
well, there shouldn't be anywhere.
No, but ideally those trucks would get stuck in. It's like sand and water, so it's very difficult. It's very technical if you actually got yourself into that situation. You need to know what you're doing.
So you're using slings or cables or what?
Yeah, a little bit of cables and metal cables. So yeah. We're just pulling them out. We do it safely. We go over our FLHA, and we have to pull out things multiple times a night. It's just so wet up there. But it was really neat to be a part of that. We call it the 777s the pizza cutters, because they would just cut right through the material. They get stuck. They're like, no, send me an 85. The 89s, like, the bigger the truck was, the easier it was to move over. I think it's just the tires. There's more,
more surface area.
Surface area. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you worked up there. You got to run some big machines. You met a bunch of good people. You stayed in camp.
Yeah, I did. It was McClyman Lake, I believe. They just tore it down. My buddy just came in from Edmonton, and he's been back there with Thompson, and they just ripped down that. So they're going to another camp. They're about an hour out of sight there. So I was fortunate enough just to be right down the road at that camp.
Yeah, I don't like camp life. I did that years ago now. Not the life for me, but I mean, it's good. You go up there and make shit pile of money and stuff like that. What was your favorite part being up there? Like, let's hear some cool shit. Like what?
I'm a kid at heart. From the day I touched a piece of equipment to the minute I saw a piece of equipment, it was an addiction. So for me to get up there and watch a 797 drive past me in a pickup was jaw-dropping. Like, words do not describe that. You got people who've gone around tandems their whole life, and that tandem is a dinky toy up there. You look at it, you're like, you'll never look at machinery the same once you're in a mine and you come out of it. And you do get desensitized to the
you get used to it.
You're used to it, but you'll stop for a second, you'll look at it, and you're like, my Lord, this thing is massive. This is the coolest thing ever. Like, I got a job where you take a room full of kids and you say, pick a job, and they see what you're doing. 9 times out of 10, they're like, I want to go to that job because it's that spectacular.
However, when kids are older, we tell them not to work construction. We tell them not to be miners. Like, what's up with that?
Okay, ranchers have a lifestyle. You breathe it, you live it. You're an operator, it's the same type of mentality. You live it and you breathe it. And I think people look at this.
Dirt life.
Exactly. People look at it and they frown upon it. But I know this may sound ignorant or not, or maybe a little cocky, but I'm making more money than a teacher does. And I don't have an education to do this. I was taught by some of the best people in the industry, and I'm excelling, and I'm going to make more money over those years. And I've got a big, beautiful house. food on the table every day, and I love waking up going to my job. I don't think there's a lot of people out there who can say that about their job. Where I was thinking about this. If I won the jackpot tomorrow and money wasn't a factor anymore, I'd still do my job.
Yeah, you have a passion for it. I totally understand that.
Absolutely. And I bring that up to anybody else who's in the office. Unless you're, maybe in the medical field where you're saving lives, I bet you anybody would say, no, I don't want to go back to that job. So that's how much I love what I
mean,
do.
you'd probably go back, you just wouldn't do it as much, but...
Or that too, right?
Yeah.
I do this full time.
Buy your own machine and start your own company.
Exactly. Or just keep doing it where I don't have to worry about a paycheck.
That too.
I just run the machines and operate them and enjoy my time.
I love people with passion, and I can see yours instantly. Just the way you're talking. I love it.
The guys I work with and I have worked with, they feel that same passion for this job or this career, really. And it when you surround yourself by people that it brings a positive vibe, and it makes you want to keep on coming and doing this every single day.
Do you think we attract the younger people by posting stuff online?
I think that definitely helps. I share it with stuff and on my page with people who are younger than me, older than me, and they'll look at it and they'll make some comments about, wow, that thing's huge. Like I got my buddy Brian, who is a chef. He's now working for Schnoz right now, and he's running a Wiggle. And he didn't realize what I did. He didn't realize, he saw it and stuff. And when he saw it with his own eyes, it clicked. He loves it now. And it's just like, when you show what you do to people and they actually get a visual understanding of it, they can immerse themselves a little bit more into it and understand it. Whereas you drive by on Deerfoot, you're not gonna really have the time to sit there and appreciate what's going on and maybe grow that interest, right? It's just a drive-by, right? And that's what a lot of people do, is they don't look at what we do, and they're missing out on a really great industry.
I think we need to attract people from other industries, like
Absolutely.
either a chef or like Home Depot or like banker, like whoever, right?
Everybody.
Because dude, you make so much more money in construction. Have all the nice shit that you have instead of working at Home Depot, for example. I don't know how we can fill all these positions without going outside of our industry to attract people that maybe aren't even looking for jobs.
Well, that's just it. And I was just talking to one of our low boys, Richard, and he was saying, if I'm not mistaken, it's 75% of the industry for Class 1 drivers, I believe, I don't know if that included Class 3, are over the age or at the age of 70. What are we going to do when in 5-10 years when they decide to retire? We can't, we're bringing in people from other countries, which is awesome, but they don't have the same driving culture we do too, and they're not necessarily going to be able to get a license right away to fill that void. That means our infrastructure is going to struggle, and we're going to see prices go through the roof. We need to really attract, and I think it starts with high school, in middle school, is getting into schools and educating kids about what this industry brings to the table. Because if we don't, I'm going to get outworked, all these other guys are going to outwork, we're going to get burnt out, and we're going to see a dramatic change in our infrastructure and a lack of it if we don't fill that void that's coming. And I mean, it's growing every day, and we see it. We don't have guys to fill in the spots, and the guys we do bring in don't have the passion or the mindset to do the job, and they don't stick with it. So there's so much to it. It's such a very complicated question to answer because there's so many variables.
I know, yep.
I'd like to see more people in it. I know people look at us and frown upon it. They see me, when I'm coming home from work, I'm covered in dirt, grease, sweat, and you kind of get the odd look. It's like, that car you just drove came from a guy like me who dug the ore that made your car. The gas, the food that got you. That I consider farmers, operators. They bring us the food. Like everything in our life today is brought to you by an operator. So we need to continue this, but how do we do it? And it's really hard, but I think starting young is one of the best ways to do it, is to attract kids to come to this industry.
Yeah, it's tough. Kids just want to be gamers now and not do anything. But I mean, there's stuff going on where you can run machines remotely and stuff like that too. But that's only in a couple applications and whatnot. So that's not really a solution for everything.
No,
that's
exactly.
For some right now. But what's some stuff you hate about construction that you would like to see changed?
Well, with the economy the way it's going right now, I think the pay is a good way to entice people to stay. Because I do know there are operators leaving the industry because the pay is not matching what
What it used to be.
what it used to be, right? When back in the day, it used to be like I went up to Thompson, and that should be a huge gap when you're in the mine versus when I'm in the city. I make more money in the city than I did with Thompson.
Really?
Yeah, they wouldn't pay me properly. Like a lot of those guys, you got guys. I worked with a guy named Rob Meany. He was one of the best ho-ops I've ever met, and he was not making what he should be making. And the guy, we call him Father Dirt. He moved dirt. He knew how. He ran shovels. He ran loading tool, dozer.
Father Dirt. I love that name.
So the guy was fantastic at his job, and he still was very, very underpaid for it. And I think if companies want to keep making money, they're going to have to spend a little money to get these guys to stay or to want to grow and make them money. Because a well-paid employee will work harder for you than an underpaid employee.
What if they're paid good, but, you know, treated like shit?
You know, it's kind of a catch-22 in this situation because a lot of guys are paid well and treated like crap. And at the end of the day, you're like you say, you treat a guy who, like my bosses, if they ask me to go to war tomorrow, I'll go to war for them. Mm-hmm. They've got my back. Yeah. You need that type of commitment from your employer and your employee. Like, you need to have a good, strong bond. And professional, right? You don't need to be best friends or family. But I've got your back, you've got my back. You're going to get more out of your guy any day of the week. Hey, can you come work this weekend? Yeah, I'll come and work for you because you've been good to me, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, like in basements and a lot of these other places I've worked with great management, if they need something from me, I'm more than willing to help them because they've treated me with respect and dignity.
Yeah, that's a common theme that I've been seeing since I've been doing this podcast. I've been talking to a bunch of people now, and like a big topic has been like treating people like human beings, for one.
Absolutely.
You've been doing this a long time, like myself, and I grew up doing this and like getting yelled at and all that shit, right? So
yeah, I've been there.
That's what I used to hate about construction. I see that getting a lot better. What's some other bullshit you wish would change in construction?
Trades, working with trades. It doesn't matter, like surveyors or, like, because I'm in basements, we dig, we work around guys with their zoom booms, their siders and stuff. It's getting on the same page, like, and having a plan and communicating with everybody that what's going on. We had, I just finished digging a basement in Carrington there, and I guess it wasn't a homeowner, but a renter. Didn't realize we're on zero lot lines, which is your property, you have 5 centimeters of property on one side and then 5 feet on the other. So the way it breaks down is 5 in between with a 24-foot house in between those two offsets. And I have to wipe out the whole entire side yard. There's no way about it. I have to wipe it out. And the homeowner or the renter is just upset, and they wouldn't come talk to me, but they're upset. And it's just like, why didn't they know that I had to do that? Because that's my job. Like that I have to do that. There's no way around it, and they're frustrated, right? And I get it because you don't know that, but why aren't we communicating with everybody so that we're all on the same page? So we avoid conflict in situations, and I think there's too much conflict with one another, and I'd like to see that curbed a little bit more with communication.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never even thought of stuff like that. Because I haven't been submersed in it like you, right? But
yeah.
What's your thoughts on old Crusty Operators?
They're not a dime a dozen anymore. But you learn a lot from them, even if they're grumpy. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing with them is you listen to them. You listen to them, they'll teach you everything they can physically teach you. And you want to take it when you can because they've got some tricks. Like, I've learned some stuff from some older operators, and you're just like, I did not know I could do that. And he's like, yeah, you can. And it makes you that much better at your job. There's a reason that people who have time in this industry have been doing it for so long. It's because they've learned so much from it. And we want to take that as we go and pass that on to generations. As long as it's safe, right? I wouldn't want to be teaching people unsafe habits, right? But there's a lot of safe habits that they teach you, and I'm glad to have met a bunch of them who've shared that with me.
Been up north, you dug basements, you've done some earthwork stuff. Like what type of earthworks and like what scale of it?
Okay, so I ended up in Fort St. John in, I believe it was 2019, right before the pandemic hit, and I got to work for Peace River Hydro Partners. Words do not describe how unique that job was. There's only so many people in the world who've ever done that. So I got the fortunate chance to sit in a seat and run a D6 pushing out concrete. And you'd think you can't can't push out concrete, but the mixture was an Italian. I don't know his name, so forgive me, but he came up with the proper chemical mixture to put it down this concrete that was enough you could drive on it with 745s and a D6. And we'd be, using GPS and just pushing out 1 foot at a time, putting in geofabric for in case of an earthquake, so it helped the dam flex, so it wouldn't just break and then pour into the valley below. But it was a really unique experience because I never thought I'd be working with concrete with a dozer. And so I got to do that, and as well as a little bit of earthworks there, loading 773s and 745s with, my first large excavator was a 374F. And that was
Yeah, they're nice, yeah.
There's a treat.
I mean, they're kind of small, but
Now compared to what I've ran before.
they're a big, small machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a smooth machine. It's got a nice counter steer on it, and very balanced. So I really enjoyed doing that, and I got to play with a Cat 988K. And so I went from, a 950 to a 980. It was a huge jump. It's like a house on wheels or a boat on wheels, So it was
I don't like loaders.
No? It gets boring after a while.
It's so damn bumpy.
That one wasn't because it's so big. Have
Is
you
it?
ever been in something that big?
Yeah, I've been in a couple big ones, yeah. I
Yeah.
forget what sizes, because I don't really care about loaders,
No,
so I
fair
don't
enough.
keep track, but...
That one was huge. And they ended up, when I left, I think a couple years later, they ended up buying a 990 or a 992. And that thing is a monster. It's 2 buckets and a 73's gone.
I've been in a 994 at Cat Proving Grounds, but I didn't get to, operate it.
No?
Just in it, and,
That's down in California, isn't it?
That is in Arizona.
Arizona, okay.
Tucson, Arizona, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'd love to get into that machine. And that's got the joystick and then the finger controls. And that one, I don't think I've ever seen them with a steering wheel in the front. That big.
I don't know. I forget.
Like you said, you don't like the loaders, aren't you?
I there's an older one I think that has a steering wheel.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think it would make
I think,
sense.
and
yeah.
then so I've been in 2 there. I went in 2017, and 2019 or 2021. I don't know what year it was. I'm pretty sure the one had steering wheel, and the next time one didn't. But don't quote me.
No, fair enough. It's neat though how much we've evolved with those machines though, because like I said, I had never ran the finger control, and once I got in that 88, it was a game changer.
I like the joysticks better.
Do you? I haven't brought this up, but I worked for Whistle at the landfill when the pandemic hit because I was a little worried that the economy was going to crash, and it was a city job. So I ended up going to work for them, and I was running the 838 or 836H, and they had a joystick and then a one-way blade joystick.
Yep.
And the steering wheel versus that joystick, it's just so comfortable. You just lean back and just do your job. Whereas I felt that the steering wheel, you're a little bit more into the whole movement of the machine, whereas
Yeah.
the other one's a little more laid back.
However, you get to brace yourself more with the steering wheel.
Yeah, you're going into the windshield if you hit something. So, yeah.
Too funny. Oh, yeah, so you worked at Whistle, too.
Yeah, I got the fortunate chance to go work for, they recently just got purchased, the division for the landfill just got purchased by E360, which is a new company. Well, not a new company, but new to Alberta. They came from Ontario. So
Oh, really? I've never heard of them yet.
yeah, they've got fence, so they actually put up the fence around the construction sites for where we're digging houses.
Yep.
So they've got that. They do trash, so all the garbage, like they're kind of like BFI or Trash 310 or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call them. So they're really big, and they moved in here hard and fast, so they took over that division. So I got to at least work with Whistle, and it was a great company to work for. Really employee friendly company. So for the time I was there, I did enjoy it.
I know a couple people that worked there. The one owner phoned me, I think he was an owner or some shit last year. I was going to film some stuff for him, but he never phoned me back. I'm calling you out.
No, it's funny is my mom actually used to cut hair for the owner and the sons who are now running.
Yeah, they
it.
had the 2 brothers or whatever. Yeah.
So it's a small world. Everybody knows everybody.
It's a big industry, but small at the same time. This came up in a other podcast the other day. I forget who it was with, but yeah, it's like such a small but big industry.
A lot of operators don't realize this, or especially new ones. Your name gets thrown around a lot. Like, it don't matter. If you leave an impression, whether it's good or bad, people will know who you are, and that can hurt your chances. That's why you got to keep it professional. Even if you're frustrated with somebody, always keep it professional, because your name will get tossed around, and if it's been dragged through the mud, it might not help you try to get, you know, jobs down the road, which, I mean, I don't know about you, but I always want to have the door open wherever I go.
When it has to be right, you can trust Leica Technology to help you get the job done and grow your business with their cutting-edge technology. Training employees is challenging and expensive, but Leica's simple to learn, simple to use products allow you to get your workforce up to speed much faster. Trust me when I say Leica Machine Control will help you move more dirt more efficiently. For more information on Leica Geosystems solutions, please visit leica-geosystems.com. So what else? Like, what do you want to talk about?
I got a lot on my mind, right? But, you know, it's always money, profitable, stuff like that. You know, where am I going with my future in this industry? Obviously, I don't want, like, I love operating. I don't want to stop anytime soon. But if I'm given the opportunity for management and help, you know, be more effective at what we do, I'd love to, you know, get my foot in the door and do that. I've been on the cusp every time, and it just something goes wrong sideways. It was really close with Thompson. I was the next candidate for a foreman position, and it all fell apart. So
Things happen for a reason.
well, absolutely, and I'm happy to be back where I'm at. I'm putting out numbers that I've never done before, which I'm really happy about, and just, you know, setting that bar higher and higher every time, and just trying to get to that next speed, or that next gauge that I can get to.
Like, challenge, and you're growing and you just want to keep going up and up. I totally understand that. I was the same way. I mean, I still am, just in a different way, right? But
Absolutely. I mean, humans need to have that. Gives you purpose in life, is you wanting to grow. If you don't, you're going to get depressed and in a rut in life, and you're never gonna be happy with life. And I'm happy with life. Could it be happier? Sure. Could it be worse? Absolutely. But
happy is like, it's like a state that's constantly changing.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the moment now. It's like, well, am I going to be happy in 10 hours? No. But it's like how you think about shit, I think, in the moment is like determines happiness. It's always,
yeah, it's influenced by the result of your environment you're in.
and the way that you perceive it or
Exactly.
take it, right? Like, react to it.
So if what might make me happy, you know, might not make somebody else happy,
Yeah.
right? So it's very personalized.
Let's talk a little bit about machines. What's your favorite machine and why?
Oh God. Can I do it into categories?
You can do whatever you want, man.
Okay, so Dozer, cat, hands down. And I've ran up to D10 all the way down to like a D3.
Yeah.
D6 is the best Dozer in its class. I've ran Komatsu D71, what was it, PX?
PX is the wide pad, yeah.
Great machine, but I felt there was a lot of blind spots with the way the cab was. And I'm working right beside 785s doing the slope. It was really sketchy, but it was pretty good, but it doesn't push like a cat. I love cat. It's comfortable. The view, I have a better view, and I'm able to push like nobody's business with that D6T. It's, in my opinion, the best finished Dozer.
I agree.
Hands down. So that's my favorite. Now, if we're talking bulking, I got to run, you know, some, what was it? Komatsu 180. No, it was a pretty big one, maybe a 188 or something like that up in Fort Mac, and then it was equivalent to like a D9, and it did not.
Oh, D9, so that's 155.
Maybe, or yeah, okay, maybe it was the 155. So
Yeah,
that
it's
was
a
about
D8
equivalent.
size, yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't push nearly as well as the cat, and the bigger it went, we had a 375.
275, yeah.
Yeah, and
This is
everybody
D10 size.
hated it.
Yeah, I hate it too.
It's
I talked
terrible.
about this on podcast the other day.
It's terrible.
I hate the balance of it.
Oh, and it is.
It's like you're tipping all the time.
Yeah, and then apparently one of our foremans up there, Derek, he was saying that the machine, the way the blade pushes, it's supposed to.
Doesn't have a stabilizer
No.
because Cat has that patent, I do believe.
Oh, so that makes sense. So my buddy's running it, and he's like, "This is the worst thing ever. Like, I can't push grade worth a damn because it's just going everywhere."
I know.
And I'm like, "Oh." So he got himself back into the D10, and he was just happy as a bird.
Now, I don't know if Cat has a patent on that, but like, Komatsu Dozers don't have those.
No.
So that's why
That makes sense.
I think.
I felt like I said, that D71 was a good dozer, but I'm gonna be picking that cat any day of the week. I love it. They're comfortable, and it's a trusted brand. If you don't mind me telling you a story, that my first run in with Kidco, I was so focused on, because I was working for a landscaping company down in the south there, doing some work on the Auburn Bay Future Train Station, right there where the co-op is, and Kidco had a 24H roll by me, and I was in a skid steer, an S650, and my jaw dropped because I'd never seen a 24-foot blade grader. And I was on the one, and it was a split road. So he's coming up the one side, and I went past him. My skid steer was smaller than the tire, and I'm like, oh, what am I doing with my life? And from that moment on, Kidco just instantly clicked in my brain. Wow, this is where I need to go. And I ended up getting in, and I haven't looked back. I'm really, really happy I did get my chance to go with this company.
Dude, it's been an awesome podcast. It's like talking with an operator. You're my first kind of full-time operator.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for having me.
Talk about like the life, dirt life. Like this is why I named it that, because I want to have these types of conversations, like
Absolutely.
unscripted, just like talk some dirt and like my experiences, your experiences, and like hear perspective on things and like learn from you, because like I've never dug basement. This is teaching me, and if it's teaching me, it's going to help other people watching.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
So, like,
we're a dying breed as operators. We're a dying breed right now. We need to revive the industry right now, and get people interested, because right now basements, it's the hardest to find operators to just do basements, let alone earthworks. Because you're in between a house, it scares away a lot of guys. So I'm happy to come and share this and give some people some ideas too. It can be stressful, but once you get the hang of it, it's your schedule. You do it. You run your own site as a foreman, unofficial, of course. But you'll really enjoy it if you do want to get into it. And there's a great opportunity right there you didn't even know existed, or never thought to even think about that.
right on, man. It's been great.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.